Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
I apologize for that stupid two part. That was dumb. My name is Matthew, mad sound effect guy.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Is that German?
It's actually Bavarian. But,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just checking. Anyways, today on the show, we are covering another short-lived, very, very short-lived, one-episode TV series. Covering the pilot for The New Partridge Family, which was a modern update on the classic TV show from the 70s. Came out in 2005. So about 16 years ago here.
Yep.
And, yeah, it was the first acting credit for Academy Award winner Emma Stone. Yep. Academy Award winner Emma Stone.
Academy Award, and also she was credited as Emily Stone, so you get to see like a really obscure reference here, like when an actor has a different name.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you find a band who has like an album, but they have like a different, like they re-released the album with like a different cover or whatever, and you're like, I got the one with the original cover, man. You know, I got the original Partridge Family remake with Emily Stone, not this bullshit from 2008 or 2019 trying to do the same thing.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
They should have done an album, actually. 2 songs that they did were pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe they did do an album. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know, yeah.
I mean,
an album for one TV episode, I'm not sure. That seems pretty ambitious.
It's possible.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on this, Matt? First off,
you know, it was very 2005-ish. I thought it was actually earlier, like 2001 or whatever, but it definitely had that kind of, you know, early 2000s vibe to it. Like just like the way people dress, the music. You know, it's like a very like, I don't know, the early 2000s were like a really interesting time because like they kind of had some carryover from like the 90s, but there was like a weird form of optimism. Like, I don't know. It's like a weird, anyway. So like, I don't know. I kind of liked it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually kind of, you know, I would probably watch a season of it. You know, if like a short season, if it was like 8 episodes or whatever, I probably would stick through it.
Yeah, I mean it's a interesting take. It's done in a kind of like reality TV style. Kind of like, I mean, this was right around the time of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of interesting. Like that was kind of the thing to do, like be kind of a mock reality TV show, and shoot things like it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, when did The Office come out? The original Office was already out, so they kind of had the influence from the British Office, probably.
Yeah, that was. Well, yeah, the American came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Plus, too, I kind of had almost like an Osborne's feel for it too, like the way the cameras looked.
Oh yeah,
because they weren't great cameras like from The Office that were.
Yeah.
Like The Office was using regular studio cameras to make it seem like it was a documentary, but like with the Osbournes, it just looked like sometimes like someone's just filming someone's house. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think this is it was definitely capturing the Osbourne sort of feel, which makes sense. This was produced by VH1. It was the continuation. There was a like game show or reality show, kind of like competition show, called Search for the New Partridge Family. And that's how they cast the show.
Oh, wow.
So like a bunch of like unknown people there was like a competition, kind of like an American Idol sort of competition show, where they competed. I actually remember watching this when it was on for like an episode or two until I got bored with it. But it was on VH1, and then this was to be like a network television show, either airing on VH1 or they were going to shop it around to other networks and stuff too. And all they ever did produce was this one episode.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. So basically, everybody that was in the cast except for French Stewart, obviously, were contestants on that show. Because French Stewart is in this, and he plays Reuben Kincaid, the manager.
Good old Kincaid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So if you're familiar with the original Partridge Family, he was a character on that as well. Yeah, this was written by Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein, and directed by Alan Meyerson. Alan Meyerson has directed episodes of the Larry Sanders Show, which was another mock documentary type show.
Mm-hmm.
He directed some Knight Rider, Police Academy 5, episodes of Jag, episodes of Judging Amy.
Nice.
Joan of Arcadia.
Ooh, good show.
Lizzie McGuire, Gilmore Girls, Ally McBeal, Boy Meets World, Ellen, News Radio, another great show.
Yeah.
He directed 5 episodes of News Radio, including one of my favorites called Goofy Ball, and another one of my favorites called Rat Funeral. Actually, I like all the episodes he directed. So anyways, he's directed some episodes of Friends, Frasier, Diagnosis Murder, Baywatch, Parent.
Jesus.
Yeah, Fame, the TV series. Yeah, his career goes all the way back to 1973. So
Wow.
yeah, he directed like Love Boat, Bob Newhart Show, things like that. Welcome Back, Kotter. A lot of things back then. So yeah, does not say if he's still alive or not. But the last thing he ever directed was Judging Amy, TV series. Directed 3 episodes of Ed, which was a good show. So
nice.
Yeah,
great show.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, he was born in 1940 in Edinburgh, Scotland, UK. Okay. So anyways, and Josh Weinstein, one of the writers, he worked extensively on animated shows like The Simpsons, Futurama, Gravity Falls, Disenchantment. So yeah, he's got a decent writing career there. Bill Oakley, the other writer, just looking up these things because this is interesting. He's written for The Simpsons as well as Portlandia, Disenchantment. So it looks like they worked together before, so that's probably why they worked on this together. So anyways, what happened in this episode here, Matt?
They start off just kind of practicing in the garage, doing one of their new tunes. They pretty much just play in the garage. They don't really have like any kind of like touring schedule or anything like that. And the older brother, he kind of wants to find them a gig, and he kind of takes it upon himself to be the manager of the band, even though nobody, gave him that role or whatever. And like they kind of do like you said, like the Office thing where they'll start interviewing, people separately. So like the
like real world talking heads sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot some of their names, but like the one of the younger brothers is kind of like, he's got no brains or whatever. For example, how could someone claim to be manager of the band when he can't even button his shirt correctly or whatever? And then like they cut to a scene where he's like trying to button his shirt when he's trying to secure a gig or like a record deal or something like that. And then like you got the one brother, he never talks, so that's like his jam or his whatever. Like
Chris is the younger brother, and then we've got Danny is the middle brother. So yeah, right, yeah, Danny, and then Trisha, she just plays like is it Trisha or Tracy? I don't remember. Just plays a triangle. That's like her only thing. I think it's Tracy. I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up really quick here. Yeah, it's Tracy Partridge. That was played by Hannah Lee. Yeah. So we also have Keith Partridge is the oldest. He's played by Leland Grant. We've got Emma, aka Emily Stone, playing Lori Partridge. We've got Anthony Skillman playing Chris Partridge. And we have Suzanne Soul playing Shirley Partridge, the mom. So that's your Partridge family, folks.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's your new Partridge family.
Yep.
So they kind of go like they pretty much interview like every single person, and we find out that the father, whatever his name is, he was like a roadie for the REO Speedwagon, and he pretty much just wanted to keep doing that. And Shirley's like, yeah, he's one of the last
wagon heads.
Yeah, something like that. And which is like, that's gotta be a rough life, man. Like, are really like in the mid 2000s, like REO Speedwagon, like. I mean, what are you playing like some county fairs if you're lucky, maybe, like.
So REO Speedwagon was in town back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother used to work the cotton candy stand at the Toledo Mud Hens games. And she has an autograph from all of the then current members of REO Speedwagon, because they came and got some cotton candy from her because they went to a Mud Hen game when they were in town. And she's got this autograph that says, "You make the best cotton candy in the world," or something like that on it. And then it's signed. It's signed by all of REO Speedwagon. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some pretty good songs, man.
Oh yeah.
Keep on loving you.
Yeah. And of course they have the bus, the family bus. That was part of the episode was forgot her name already. Emily Stone's character,
Lori. She's trying to get her driver's license, and they only have the bus, to practice with, which is kind of cool to think about it, because then if you can learn how to drive a bus, you can pretty much learn how to drive a car. So it kind of got that extra challenge. Kind of interesting though, because getting a license to drive an automobile and a license to drive a bus are two different licenses.
Oh, I know.
So
no, I know you got to get. Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Because bus is more difficult, but so like while older brother, I forgot his name again. He's off trying to find
Keith.
Gigs for the what's that?
Keith.
Yeah, sorry, Keith. He's at like a tattoo parlor, and he's like chatting up the daughter of the guy who owns the place, and basically that's where they're gonna play, and Danny is like, he's sort of like the marketer kind of guy or whatever. He was trying to find a real manager for the band, not Keith, because he doesn't really know what he's doing. So he says something like, he goes to like the office where like I guess they sign bands or whatever, and he says something like, all you gotta do is ask for Stephanie, because there's always a woman named Stephanie in one of these places.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, he was at Reuben Kincaid's office, basically, like the
that's where he was.
The management place where he worked. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's then we get some weird racist thing going on where this dude's like Asian guy, he's like, I guess like the assistant to Mr. Kincaid or whatever, and he sees Danny, he's like, "Oh, you're Danny, I had no way that you're just a kid." And he's like, "I had no idea that I thought that you were a non-Chinese person," or I'm like, okay, like that's a weird thing to say as a kid, but what are you learning at home? Is this a really nice family, or is there like a secret?
Well, it does make sense. Sometimes you're not sure what somebody's ethnicity is on the phone, but still.
Right, but no, and then he's trying to like be tough and like, you can't come into Mr. Kincaid's office or whatever, and then Kincaid starts screaming at him for some reason, and then I guess lets the kid in and they talk, I guess, or something, I don't know, and then the next thing we know, they bring the whole band to like audition inside the room with like, that's like got a huge table, and that's kind of weird to take a full band into like a conference room, but okay, that's whatever. And then I mean, how would you even do that? Like plug everything in, and okay, whatever, I guess ignore the mechanics of all that. But
it's TV.
They played.
It's TV. We gotta suspend this. I'm just joking.
I know. I do this when I want to make fun of something. I just get really literal about it.
I know. I know. I'm just joking. I'm just saying. It's just it's in the TV world where you don't need to plug things in.
You don't need. No, that's the thing. You don't need to plug anything in. It just shows up. So they like do this remake of I Think I Love You, like a more modern
Yeah.
2005-y pop rock type of version, and boom, they're gonna go talk about it. Now, that was just my interpretation, the same as yours, but was Mr. Kincaid basically about to like say they sucked or whatever, but then they all agreed with him, or they all wanted to sign them, but he didn't, or something like that?
I really couldn't follow that. Honestly,
okay.
when I watched it, I wasn't sure what his position on the band was. I didn't know.
Yeah, either by. So yeah,
it's hard to say.
They kicked it, whatever. Yeah.
Do you want to take a quick break here, Matt, and then we'll talk about the rest of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. Okay, so okay, Matt, come on, get happy. All right, so
Come on, get happy.
So they have this part where everybody leaves the room because they want to talk about it, which is interesting. And somehow Chris is still in there. And they start talking about the band and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to get Chris out of here," basically. And then, but see, I still don't know what I'm trying to figure out what Reuben Kincaid's point of view was on this, like if he liked the band or not, because that was kind of not really clear.
Yeah,
I don't know. So, what happens next, Matt?
They fire. Well, he says they'll get back to them, and Shirley thinks that means that they pretty much just gonna say no. So she just wanted to take the kids, away from that because didn't want them to get rejected or whatever. And meanwhile, they end up firing Mr. Kincaid, and he's walking with like his box of stuff or whatever. I notice I say "or whatever" a lot. It's interesting, yeah. But
that's okay.
They hit him, yeah, or whatever. I keep forgetting her name. Emily Stone's character,
Lori.
God, she's driving the bus and ends up hitting Kincaid. So they, instead of like taking him to the hospital, they just take him to their house, I guess, and kind of take care of him.
Yeah.
And he's they have him sleeping in like the bedroom with like all the kids apparently sleep in one bedroom or something. That's interesting, but because the house looks kind of a decent sized house, so not sure why there would only be 2 bedrooms in it, but hey, what do I know? And Tracy's like telling him that she doesn't really know how to play a triangle correctly, and he's telling her how to do it. And that's supposed to be some like big moment between them, I guess. It didn't really, kind of fell flat.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say like you got to hit it like you're hitting somebody you don't like or something like that?
Yeah. And so she keeps playing it, and he's like, "All right, that's enough of that, Bob." You know, I don't know, that part wasn't that great, but and then they wake up and he says like, "Oh, I made something special for you for breakfast." And they're like, "All right," and it turns out it's just a contract. Like, oh, okay. And he just decides, "Oh, I'm going to be your manager now." See, that's the thing I'm starting to wonder is if he was basically like the naysayer of them, and then they fired him because they knew that they were going to be a hit, and that maybe he was like, "Oh, I'm just going to scoop them up now and be the manager instead of the big company," type of thing.
Yeah.
Before they had a chance to. I don't know. That's what I'm starting to wonder of what happened. But they played the tattoo parlor gig, and the song's pretty cool. Everybody's into it, which personally I don't think some of the people in there at the tattoo parlor would have been into like that kind of pop rock 2005 style. Just my uneducated guess, but like,
oh yeah,
people getting like dragon tattoos on their foreheads and like skulls on fire might not exactly be into like emo / pop / rock music. Maybe I'm wrong, but usually
that's how it is. I'm pretty sure that most people that get those type of things are really into the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It might be a guy who likes getting tattoos of demons ripping angels' heads off. Just loves, Bread, the band from the 70s, or like, who knows? I mean, people are they're people that are an enigma. They're
Mm-hmm. It's like it's like when you go from listening to your like death metal in the car, and then all of a sudden you're listening to Miley Cyrus.
That's right. Miley, I still love that song.
I know.
Oh, party in the USA. Not in my head, like yeah. Moving my head. I couldn't move my hips. I was driving, but otherwise, I might have gotten into a car accident, and that would have been the last thing I heard before I died was "Party in the USA," and then we just fall off the bridge right there. But by the way, you guys got to check out the DJ Cummerbund mashup of Puddle of Mud's "Blurry," and that's the instrumental part, and then the vocals for "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus. That has a lot of footage from the fascist police beating protesters last summer against BLM. Anyway, and but it's pretty much just taught kind of like pretty much just like a symbol of what was going down last summer when we all almost lost our democracy. Anyway, sorry to get political there, and
it's okay. It's
in the middle of a Partridge Family episode, but
yes. Well, that happens normally when you're talking about the Partridge Family.
Oh, I know. Of course, you get into hardcore
philosophical, political discussion.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, stuff that'll make Ben Shapiro pull out his samurai sword and cut off your head or something.
I studied the blade, man.
Yep.
I mastered the blade. I'm sure you did master the blade.
Speaking of which, if you guys haven't seen this poster, look up Ben Shapiro samurai sword. It's when
it's
hilarious. He looks like he was like a teenager or something. And speaking of Blade, he kind of looks like he wants to be like Wesley Snipes in the movie Blade or something. But yeah, it's just
Blade Part 3, starring Ben Shapiro.
But So basically at the gig, the owner of the tattoo parlor decides he doesn't want to pay them. And so Reuben Kincaid steps in and he basically makes them pay him. And turns out they're getting paid like $150. And so Reuben got his 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good gig. And then what happened after that, Matt?
Then what? Oh yeah. So something weird happened, and okay. So this is 2005,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking 2005. I was in my early 20s then. Yeah, I'm kind of old, and and I'm sitting there thinking I don't remember this being that controversial of a thing back then, especially in Los Angeles. But so it turns out that their father is played by the original Danny Partridge from the
Danny Bonaducci, the actor.
Danny, yeah, and he shows up with his life partner, who happens to be another man, and it had this sort of minor shocking. And I'm like,
well, what I'm thinking,
1985 maybe, but 2005.
What I'm thinking is it wasn't necessarily the shock of the fact that it was a same-sex couple. I think it was more of the shock of the fact that they didn't know he was gay.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So basically, that explains why he left. Mrs. Partridge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, one of the reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so yeah. And I'm sure that they were going to develop that more into the second episode that we never got.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot for, teasing us with one episode, then
In the original Partridge Family, Mrs. Partridge was a widow. She wasn't divorced, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's an interesting twist on things here too. Do you want to take our last break here, Matt, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some trivia and reviews and stuff of this?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
Need a new podcast to listen to? Well, why not check out the Super Podcast from the Super Network at supermarcy.com, where we discuss films and pop culture, and we do monthly fan-voted commentaries. We are available on all major podcasting platforms.
And we are back, making people happy here. So come on, get happy. Because a whole lot of loving is what we'll be bringing. Will make you happy.
Yep.
So, anyways, this was a kind of weird idea. We were talking about this on the break. That the concept was that it was a reality show that led into a sitcom. So basically, the people were competing to be the people on the show. I remember at the time they did have things like this, where they had I remember at one time there was a show on television where people were competing to be the stars of Grease on Broadway. And they had other things like this. And I remember there was also I know in Canada they had shows like this too. A friend of mine on Facebook, she actually was one of the contestants. She was actually a contestant on the Canadian version of The Voice as well. But she was a contestant on this show where they were looking to cast Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And they had a few shows like this, both in America and Canada and other places, in Great Britain and everything. I remember there was some show with Andrew Lloyd Webber where he was casting people for a Broadway show. And I mean, they had other things like this where you win and then you become a contestant on the show or something. Yeah, I mean an actor on the show or on Broadway, or they had a sort of you also had Making the Band, which was a little different, but prior to this, where Lou Pearlman, the fucking loser asshole who did bring us Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and stuff, and then O-Town was the creation of Making the Band. But we did have a lot of things like this where there were shows where you basically were having contestants compete to become part of something bigger, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, because there was also, like, what else was there? There's, like, some other, I remember there was, like, some show where I think they were, like, they had, like, a thing where they were getting the new lead singer for In Excess. There was, like, a competition for that as well. They had a lot of this stuff, and this was, like, all in the, like, late 90s, early 2000s. They had all these types of things, you know? So, you know, when reality TV was really huge. I mean, it still is, but, you know, when it was starting to get real big. Yeah, so basically the premise of this was that they had the search for the Partridge Family, and they had people perform different songs in American Idol style, and then, you know, because if you look it up, you can actually see Emma, a.k.a. Emily Stone, performing the song Bitch, which I've seen the video of, and it's pretty good. I mean, she's good. She's not, like, outstanding, which is kind of interesting. I mean, but then again, I mean, she does have a decent voice. I mean, she went on to be in La La Land and stuff like that, where she sang. Anyways, so do you want to get into some trivia here, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is only lasted one episode. Mr. Partridge was only at the end of the first episode, but previews for the second showed that, actually it was in the end because it was the preview thing, showed that he would be played by Danny Bonaducci, who played Danny Partridge in the original Partridge Family. And then the only other trivia we have is that this was Emma Stone's debut. So do you want to hear some reviews here, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is a review, a 1-star review from Reno 007. What the bleep? I'm not bleeping things out. It's just got like a bunch of little random symbols, so I'm assuming they mean what the fuck. Anyway, so
I think you can assume correctly.
Yeah. As Bill Murray's character said in Scrooged, gosh, that sucked. Gosh, does that suck. I mean, I'm sorry. I watched the search for the actors and actresses on VH1 and thought that it was a fun show, mainly because I liked seeing David Cassidy and the other people from the original show. But when it started showing on VH1, I absolutely hated it, period. What was a cute show was pathetically reinvented to be a reality show. Are you kidding me? It had absolutely nothing in common with the original, and the people portraying the characters didn't even look like the original characters, because that really matters. Anyways, plus the fact that when they were doing the tests for the prospective candidates, I found it funny. I found it a funny thing to watch. An American Idol type search. Sorry, but if you want to do a remake of a classic show like The Partridge Family, get known and or trained actors. Don't do this asinine talent search with wannabe morons who are hungry for their 15 minutes. I was glad and relieved when this train wreck was derailed quick after its start. Hey VH1, if you want to remake a classic show, hire regular actors and then you may have something there. Otherwise, you're wasting the viewers' time and energy. So this was written.
Yeah.
This was written on February 5th of 2006.
Yeah. So Emma Stone
won an Academy Award.
She's a wannabe moron who's been super bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like a million other. Like she was in that movie with Ryan Gosling. I forgot the name of it.
La La Land. Yeah.
Well, she was in a couple movies with them. Yeah, La La Land, but there was the one with Steve Carell, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of that
she was
one.
In the, she was in The Rocker with Rainn Wilson, Dwight from The Office. So.
That's right. She was in that movie. Yeah, that's a really good movie. The Rocker.
She was in the Zombieland movies. She was in she's in a lot of movies, and she's she was in the Amazing Spider-Man films. She was in Birdman with Michael Keaton. She's an Academy Award winning actress. So just saying. Okay. So, here's another 1 out of 10 stars. This is from December 13th of 2006. This is from Ray 280. And the headline is, I Think I Hate You, VH1. How did they ever think they could top a cast that included Shirley Jones, David Cassidy, and Danny Bonaducci, who did return for this? This was unwatchable, horrid. If you can't say anything nice about something on IMDb, you still have to fill 10 lines. What is there to say? Oh, I need a few more lines. Okay, it stunk. The original was better. I can't believe they did this. Why? Why? Okay, I'm serious. IMDb, why do you make me write 10 lines about this abomination? My God, what is next? Sheesh.
Okay.
You could have just spent your whole life without actually commenting on IMDb. That's just another thing you can
do.
There is one 10 out of 10 review here. Okay, this is from N. Homer, and this was from October 9th of 2007. And the headline is Loved the Show. I loved the show. It was so amazing. The people they got to play the Partridges did a wonderful job. They were good actors and actresses and singers. You really shouldn't compare it to the original. That's just wrong. The people are different and should be treated differently. This show rocked. You people need to see that the show was a good show, unlike the original. They are two different shows. I think of them like that. Leland Grant is amazing actor and singer. Leland, you rock. Shame you weren't in anything else. French Stewart is an amazing actor. When I found out that he was playing Reuben Kincaid, I was very excited. These people are amazing actors and deserve a congratulations for their efforts.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah. So, final thoughts here, Matt. Would you recommend anybody watch this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun. It's got that 2005 lighting that a lot of shows had. You'll recognize it if you watch shows from that era.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting's very bright. It was a bright time for a lot of people. So, like, if you watch, like, for example, was it NCIS with, no, I'm not sure what the name of it. The dude with the glasses always plays the Who song. Yeah! After he does the
CSI.
Yeah. If you watch CSI from like 2004, the lighting's like so bright. Like that was a style back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got that going on. You got literally bright light to kind of make you sort of give you a false sense of good mood just from the lighting itself. Then you also have French Stewart. I mean, come on, it's French Stewart. I mean, the guy's a genius.
Yes.
He should have been a...
He was in Inspector Gadget 2.
Don't remind me. I just said he was a genius. Don't bring up that. Well, what I was going to say is he's been criminally, in my opinion, underutilized in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, Inspector Gadget 2. Come on. Right. He's French Stewart. He should be, you know, I have no idea why he wasn't as big as he, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he did have a huge career when Third Rock was on.
True. But usually that kind of launches you further and further out, but maybe not.
I don't know. Well, French Stewart, I'll write a movie one day and cast you in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening. And if you'd like to be on our show, let me know too if you're listening. And if you're listening, that's very strange and weird.
Well,
I mean, it's a good thing if you are. I'm saying, but I'm just saying it'd just be really weird to know that French Stewart was listening to our podcast.
He might be like, like thinking about like, his past a little bit, and he's like, yeah, you remember that show I was on? And he sees like we're like the second person that's reviewed it, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. So then pops open, well, not pops open, that makes no sense. Plays the podcast. How do you pop open a podcast?
Well, whenever I'm hungry, I pop open a podcast, and I, sometimes, you try to eat just one, but you can't. You got to eat several podcasts, and I sit there and I'll be like, oh, here's a WTF with Mark Maron. That's yummy.
Yeah.
And then, here's a Behind the Bastards with Robert Evans. That's yummy. That sort of thing. I'm just shouting out two of my favorite podcasts.
Here's an Inside of You with
Michael Rosenbaum.
And it's literally inside of you because you just ate it. So,
here's a Life is Short with Justin Long. Yummy.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Here's a True Crime Garage. Yummy. Yep. By the way, I just mentioned some of the podcasts I listen to. So,
Yep.
Here's a Slash Film Daily. Yummy. Anyway, so check all those out, folks. So anyways, I mean, my thoughts on this is I think it was good. It was a good effort. I mean, it could have lasted maybe a season or something if they would have given it a chance on VH1 or something, but I could never have seen this going to airing on like CBS or something, So that would never have worked. I mean, it would have been good. It would have been a good cable show.
Yeah, like a VH1 show. Yeah,
but I don't see it on regular network television. I know that right now they are actually developing. They're in the process of developing another Partridge Family show. I read the other day, so we'll see what happens with that. Maybe that'll come out. Maybe it won't. They talk about these things all the time, and then they never happen. And my thing is like, why do we have to remake and reboot everything anyways? So, so it's like, come up with a good original idea. I mean,
yeah.
But then again,
come on.
But then again, I'm okay with some remakes and stuff too. So, so it's okay. Whatever it is, it is. Anything else before we wrap things up here, Matt?
Nope.
Okay, well, folks, make sure you check out our TeePublic. I just ordered a shirt from TeePublic of ours. I got a All Too Real 2 shirt coming in the mail. I thought, hey, I'll check that out and see how the quality is on it, because I hadn't gotten one yet. I just realized that the other day, and I was like, I should get an All Too Real 2 t-shirt,
Yeah.
So I can wear it out in public and people ask me, what's that all about? And you guys should do the same, I've also got some other shirts on there and stuff too. So yeah.
And pretty soon, Gator Smoke is gonna put out an album.
Yes, and we'll have a Gator Smoke T-shirt on there soon. I'm still working on the design. I've just been busy and haven't been able to do it. But we'll get that on there.
I'm still working on some songs. We're gonna get a Gator Smoke album probably within a year. It might not be good, but
but yeah, check our show notes. We got a link in there to the TeePublic. You can get some really cool T-shirts from Cullen Park Productions. You can get them in different colors, different sizes, whatever you want. So it'll be really cool. You can get the designs on other things too on TeePublic, not just T-shirts. They have other products on there. It helps support the show, because we get money when you buy that stuff. Also, which will help us keep the lights on, because we need lights to be able to see before we record.
Yeah.
And also, another way to help us out is check out our Patreon. There's a link on there as well. Also, give us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcast. I know I say this every week, And, you know, sometimes people do it, and I thank you for that. You know, thank you for anybody that has given us a review. I appreciate it. You know, share the show with your friends. Be like, hey, Matt and Mike are funny. Or, hey, Matt and Mike are insightful. Or, hey, I hate Matt and Mike. Oh, wait, what? No. Anyway, so the whatever it is you do, just do it. And anyways, until next time, folks, be kind, rewind, wear sunscreen, wear a condom, and bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.